all have been victims of bullies at least once. Even the most fearful and strong people in our memories. The ones that we looked like, wow, I would like to be that strong one day. Even the legend Mike Tyson himself.
That was Tyson when he was Tyson. When in his young 20s, when he was just unstoppable. Unstoppable.
On July 21st, 1989 in Atlantic City, a young Tyson, only 23 years old, stepped into the ring with one thing on his mind: payback. His opponent, Carl "The Truth" Williams, was the same guy who wouldn't stop bragging about beating up a 15-year-old Tyson during practice. But before we get to their epic fight, let's take a look at what led up to this grudge match. A few months before his fight with Carl Williams, Mike Tyson wasn't looking so unbeatable. His win against British boxer Frank Bruno was more difficult than everyone expected, and Tyson even seemed a little shaky during the fight. Some people thought it was because he'd recently let go of his longtime trainer, Kevin Rooney.
The truth is that I am the uncrowned king, the young heir to the throne, and the baddest heavyweight in all the land, as you will see today on ABC Wide World of Sports.
Carl Williams wasn't an average boxer. He started strong and was undefeated in his first 15 professional fights. Although his winning streak ended in 1985 with a close loss to boxing legend Larry Holmes during a heavyweight title fight, he made a name for himself by going the full 15 rounds with champ Larry Holmes, despite his defeat. Many boxing experts noticed, though, that Williams had a weakness for left hooks, which would come back to hurt him later. Despite the defeat, Williams bounced back and racked up wins against some notable names like James Tillis and Trevor Berbick. These victories positioned him to be a potential top contender. However, his fight with Tyson started way back when young Mike Tyson at 16 met Carl Williams in the ring. This wasn't a random fight. It was set up by Tyson's legendary coach, Cus D'Amato, who always put his fighters against tough competition. Years later, Williams, a tough New Yorker who was already a pro at 23, 6 years older than Tyson, gave the young amateur a beating. Years later, Williams would brag about it. Video footage shows William using his jab to control the fight against a less experienced Tyson. Carl Williams wasn't always on the losing end against Mike Tyson. Back when Tyson was just a 16-year-old amateur, Williams, a pro with some experience, around 7 to 8 fights, managed to rough him up in the ring. Tyson was able to beat Williams. This rattled Williams, a professional who couldn't believe he was getting beat by an amateur. Williams then vowed revenge. The next day, he returned to the gym with a new strategy and busted up the young Tyson. Fast forward a few years, and that green boy had been transformed into Iron Mike Tyson.
Heavyweight undisputed champion of the world, Iron Mike Tyson,
who is the most feared boxer and heavyweight champion of the era. Their paths would eventually cross again, this time in a professional fight. This wasn't just any fight for Mike Tyson. He wasn't stepping into the ring like an inexperienced amateur anymore. This was a major championship game with a lot on the line. It was his second title defense for Ring Magazine's heavyweight title. Also, it was the sixth defense for the International Boxing Federation's heavyweight title, and his eighth defense for the World Boxing Association's heavyweight title. Finally, it was the ninth defense for the World Boxing Council's heavyweight title. This fight would cement Mike Tyson's status in boxing royalty. He entered the ring the youngest heavyweight champion in history, ready to defend his titles and solidify his dominance. Mike Tyson's former sparring partner, Carl Williams, jumped at the chance to fight him in a professional match. This wasn't just any fight for Williams. It was a chance to get revenge for their earlier sparring sessions where he'd gotten the upper hand. Mike Tyson was the undisputed heavyweight champion at this point, and he held titles from all the major boxing organizations. He entered the fight with a staggering record of 36 wins, 32 by knockout, most within 5 rounds, and 6 knockouts in the first round itself. Carl Williams was ranked #1 contender by the International Boxing Federation. Williams planned to use his jab to control the fight and tie up Tyson when he got close. On paper, it looked like a tough strategy, but not impossible. Williams wasn't a pushover. He had a respectable record of 22 wins, 17 by knockout with only 2 losses. However, compared to Tyson's dominance, it wasn't much. This fight, based on statistics alone, seemed like a potential mismatch. The fight was intense from the beginning. Williams tried to control the fight against a clearly annoyed Tyson, but it didn't last long. Just over a minute into the first round, Tyson landed his signature left hook, Williams's weak spot. The punch sent Williams crashing to the floor. Shockingly, Williams got right back up. However, Newman, the referee, was worried that Tyson's blow might have caused a concussion, quickly stopped the fight and awarded Tyson a knockout victory. This decision sparked outrage from the crowd, especially Williams and his trainer. They thought the stoppage was premature, but the referee stood by his call, fearing for Williams' safety. The referee, Randy Newman, was a former heavyweight boxer himself, and he defended his decision to stop the fight. He explained that Williams didn't seem steady on his feet after getting knocked down. Newman argued that if Tyson had been in the same condition, the fight would have been stopped too. He was wobbly. He wasn't standing up straight. He was leaning against the ropes. I asked him a simple question to see how he responded, but his eyes and expression were blank. He didn't seem to understand.
Well, he got up very slowly. He was shaking when he got up, so I was suspicious to begin with. At 8, he just made it up and he was leaning against the ropes. I asked him a question, not so much for the answer, but to see how he'd answer. There was no answer. And I said, again, how are you? The eyes were blank, the stare was there, and the man is concussed.
Newman went on to explain his reasoning. He's had a lot of professional and amateur fights. Boxers know that when they get knocked down, the first thing they want to do is show the referee they're okay. Williams didn't do that. Williams managed to dodge some of Tyson's attacks with his left forearm. However, Tyson seemed calmer than in his previous fight and landed several powerful punches. Finally, a brutal left hook and uppercut combination caught Williams on the chin. Even though Williams was clearly shaken, he wasn't completely knocked out and managed to stand up. However, the referee stopped the fight for safety reasons. Williams wasn't happy with the decision, but the outcome remained the same, which is a knockout victory for Tyson. It settled the score between the two fighters but left the audience wanting more after such a quick fight. Tyson noticed Williams liked to slip punches and counter with a hook, so Tyson would slip a punch but not throw a counter right away. This would make Williams think the coast was clear. Just when he expected a counter and lowered his guard, Tyson unleashed a powerful punch. Tyson knew Williams' strategy wouldn't work forever. He stayed patient, waited for the right opening, and landed accurate punches with pinpoint precision. The interviewer asked Tyson if he specifically aimed for a left hook, considering Williams was known for being vulnerable to them. Tyson replied that he wasn't solely focused on landing a left hook, despite Williams' weakness. Tyson said he preferred his right hand and believed it was his strongest punch, but hadn't gotten a chance to use it effectively yet. Instead, he was more interested in sticking to his overall fight plan than targeting a specific punch. The interview seems to take a turn here, with the interviewer wanting to analyze the fight footage to see what exactly happened. The interviewer continues to discuss the fight with Tyson and confirms it was a clean left hook that landed. They ask if Tyson was surprised by how quickly it ended the fight. Tyson wasn't surprised. He knew a clean shot could knock anyone out, regardless of their past. Although he acknowledged that Williams got up after the punch, he respected the referee's decision to stop the fight. He believes Williams was definitely hurt, but when he was asked how long it would have taken Tyson to finish Williams if the fight continued, Tyson confidently says he would have overwhelmed Williams quickly. He agreed that the referee made the right call by stopping the fight early. He believed he would have dominated Williams if the fight continued. Tyson explained he's especially dangerous when he knows he's hurt his opponent. When asked about his next fight, Tyson said he was focused on taking things one step at a time and is open to fighting anyone. He confidently declares himself the best fighter in the world and ready to face any champion. Sometimes, what we need is to use the disrespect we receive as energy to evolve into the next version of ourselves. Thanks for watching, everyone. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe to stay updated with new videos.